the strategy. In the Economic Times, present ASTAC and National Sales Head of Jasubhai Digital Media. Very warm welcome to our moderator. 12. Pride of Kashmiri Award by Indian Diabetic Federation 2013 and many more. Let's put our hands together, everybody.
I would request the MC, can we have the profile and introduction for all the speakers?
Yes. Our next speaker is Dr. Ananta Singh Rakhuvanshi. He is a doctorate in management, TEDx speaker, and a corporate leader with 3 decades of dedicated service to the real estate sector. She has held the positions of Executive Director at DLF, Chief Executive at MRMGF, Country Head India at DEMEC, and Senior Executive Director at Experion Developers, and stands for exemplary leadership and exceptional results. She is the founder and president for Naritico Mahi under the aegis of Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. She is also the mission director for Nirmal Jal Prayas. She is the advisory board of Amity, RICS, SPE and NICMAR Pune. She is a mentor of change for Niti Aayog's ATL AIM, awarded by Honorable CM and Deputy CM of Maharashtra by Society Achievers Award, and recognized with over 40 prestigious awards and accolades. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together. Our next speaker, Ms. Madeline Y. Alfleur-Gazman. Madeline Alfleur-Gazman, fondly called Mayor Madel by her constituents, is the First Lady Mayor of Aerocity. First elected in May 2004, she holds the record as the city's youngest mayor in the last 13 years. Mayor Madel descended from a family of politicians. Her accomplishments in the art of communicating and conservation and protection of the environment speak of her dream to make Aerocity an agro-ecotourism center in the Philippines. Her vision for Aerocity is anchored on programs for good local governance, which were measured in the local government performance management system and generated very satisfactory results. Under her leadership, Aerocity was a recipient of awards and recognition in good local governance, tourism, human resource management, revenue generation and environmental protection, etc. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together. And next we have Dr. Madhulika Bajpai, MPhil PhD, Associate Professor, Human Communication, BCAS, University of Delhi. She is a senior faculty as Bhaskar Acharya College of Applied Sciences, University of Delhi. As an academician and a consultant, she has a professional career spanning 25 years. Dr. Bajpai is also awarded the Meritorious Teacher Award by Directorate of Higher Education, Government of NCT of Delhi. In addition to her academic work, Dr. Bajpai is a sought after speaker. She is the founder and life member of several psychosocial organizations working in the ambit of applied and positive psychology. Her domains of work include stress management, personality development, holistic health, and positive psychology, to name a few. Through her workshops and talks, she helps create awareness for mental health concerns, suggest appropriate interventions, and promote holistic wellness. Let's put our hands together, everybody. And next we have Ms. Maitri Kamble. She's a young entrepreneur from Pune with a strong sense of social responsibility through her business ventures. She comes from a family with a strong business background and has paved her own way. Maitri worked on various projects during her college years, which helped her develop her business interest. She graduated from MIT WPU with a BBA in International Business and founded a startup company called Swara Sanitech, with focuses on upliftment of sanitation workers through technologies. Maitri's TI Bus initiative aims to provide one-stop sanitation services to women and create business opportunities for marginalized women. She also works as the DICCI Next Gen National Convener, fostering entrepreneurship and innovation among SC/ST entrepreneurs. Maitri's work has been recognized by government bodies and national media platforms. Ladies and gentlemen, तालियों के साथ एक बार स्वागत. And then we have Mr. Nikhil Pant, Chief Executive Officer, REACHA and a founder Lakshya. Nikhil Pant, former Chief Program Executive, National Foundation for CSR, IICA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, GOL, has played a key role from government side in formulation and national wide rollout of corporate social responsibility as per Section 135, Companies Act 2013 legislation, rules, policy, strategy, compliance, accounting, audit, taxation, reporting. He also specializes in CSR grant management, monitoring and evaluation frameworks, impact assessment, project management, etc. and is currently involved in compliance to impact with sustainability, advising to governments, corporates, NGOs and academia on CSR and sustainable development. And last speaker, ladies and gentlemen, of this session, Ms. Akriti Rawal, CEO and co-founder of A House of Chicken Curry, is a unique blend of strategic marketing expertise and passion for preserving traditional art forms. Together with her mother, she founded A House of Chicken Curry, a venture that seeks to showcase the beauty of this exquisite embroidery style from Lucknow to the world. Hailing from New Delhi, Akriti honed her skills at King's College London and Imperial College London, where she earned a bachelor's degree and master's in strategic marketing, respectively. She recently participated in the highly acclaimed Shark Tank India Season 2, where her D2C business model and unwavering dedication to empowering artisan communities caught the attention of 4 investors, including Aman Gupta and Piyush Bansal, resulting in secured funding. Akriti's mission is to preserve the glory of the art of chicken curry and provide economic and social empowerment to artisans by guaranteeing the authenticity and quality of their handwork. This is about our speakers, and now I would like to hand over to our moderator.
Thank you so much for the lovely introduction to all the great speakers we have on this panel, and it is a privilege to host this panel on women empowerment and wellness. I must congratulate the organizers, AII, LSG and all the supporting partners. We see that more than 20 associations had participated and supported for this program. We are truly thrilled. Honestly speaking, we were sitting on the back side over a tea and all our panelists were little skeptical about having audience members listening to us since it's our last session. But thank you so much to all the leaders present here. Can we have a great round of applause for all of you, please, for being there for the last session. So going ahead, my first question goes to Dr. Hina Shafibhat. Ma'am, you are the Vice Chairperson of J&K Khadi and Village Industries Board. We would love to know your journey, that how you have motivated yourself working in the challenging atmosphere and of course handling this prestigious position which demands not only the leadership, but when I say challenging atmosphere, there are certain challenges politically and of course being a women leader in state like J&K, how you have overcome all that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's really a privilege to be sitting here and talking about women. Preeti, for everybody, it was not so easy. I was the first Kashmiri Muslim to join Bharatiya Janata Party. When I started my political career, it was 2013, and I was the only first Muslim women. That time, I can say Bharatiya Janata Party or any other national party still not so well accepted in Jammu and Kashmir. So I had to, it was a very, ice-breaking situation. But because of my family and loved ones, today I'm here and speaking in front of you at the national level. Nothing in life is easy, especially for women. Nobody accepts, even if you are capable to do the best. But you have to bring that capacity and capability, potential you have, and you can reach anywhere.
Thank you so much, ma'am. such an amazing inspiration that surviving in such tough situations and still, you know, moving level ahead with your vision.
Preeti, I have to add something because maybe that can be an inspiration and that threat where a woman steps out to do something different. When I joined BJP, on every social media, I could see on every social site lot of abuse, lot of derogative language. But today, these same people, they're writing very good about me today. So this is a change that from the abuse to the praise, these years they have realized it's not about the party, it's not about, it is the step and the hard work of women where she can reach to some better standards.
Wow, lovely. So since you have mentioned that whenever, this is just an observation since I am also representing a real estate organization. I work in the capacity of Additional Director General with India's topmost real estate association under Ministry Housing. I've seen when 10 to 11 women like in a group, they are together. So there's a term called kitty party is being used. Women folks are never been seen, perceived or accepted as the change maker or the leader. So my next question to Dr. Ananta Raghuvanshi, the president of the women's wing of Naredco Mahi. Ma'am, you have spent more than 3 decades in the real estate sector. And of course, when you have started your journey, this sector was not very lucrative and fancy looking for women folks. So how your journey has been in real estate then and now, and what would be your suggestion to aspiring women folks who pursue a career in real estate?
Thank you so much for that question, Preeti. I think probably that's exactly what attracted me there. Normal is boring, right? Challenges are always exciting. Yes, in 1991, I think I was all of 21, and my motivation actually for working in real estate, it wasn't really real estate. I was a marketing professional and I wanted to work in the best looking office in the city. And at that point of time, there were only 2 buildings which really looked amazing, and one was the DLF Center, which was brand new, and one not so brand new, but that was the Citibank building in all places. So that was my motivation for being there. And that had 3-4 places. One was, of course, British Airways, and then there was this, there was Nestle, and somehow I think destiny took me to DLF. So I said I want to sell the most expensive product. I want to work in the most beautiful building. That's an age when you talk about superlatives, I think, you know. So that was the whole idea, and I landed up there. But yes, once I was there, then there was no looking back. I definitely would agree that in most rooms, and including even in boardrooms today, you would probably be the only one. You'll be very lucky if you found a company as far as women are concerned. But one thing I would like to tell all the women is that it's only that initial thing, you know, when you join a job or when you enter a room for a meeting, that there would probably be bias or no bias. But once you start talking, then nobody's thinking whether you're a man or a woman, you're a professional, you're there on your qualifications, your competence, and to do a job. And if you are good at your job, and if you keep working towards excellence in that job, on all fronts, of course, whether it is educational qualifications, job knowledge, your ethics, your fairness, your leadership skills, of course your resilience, persistence, there's so many things that make each one of us. But if you are constantly working on all of that, I think you enjoy, and you're enjoying what you're doing, then success on all fronts, I think, just follows. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ananta. Since you've mentioned that at a very tender age, of course, choosing your own path, and that too an unconventional one, those times is absolutely an inspiration. My next question to our young entrepreneur. I'm really glad that on this panel we have 2 young entrepreneurs in their early 20s, and it's a proud moment. To Miss Akriti Rawal, the CEO and co-founder of House of Chicken Curry. Akriti, you started your career when girls planned to party with their friends. So, and that too with your mother. So, of course, I'm not going to ask you the same question which you have addressed on many forums. This is little different. Market is already highly competitive. And when we talk about fashion trends, when we talk about the chicken curry or a traditional trend of a fashion, still you are keeping it so innovative. So what was the challenges you have faced, and what are the I would say, what are the ideas you would like to give to your fellow, not only women but men also, who are aspiring to start their careers in an unconventional manner?
Thank you so much for your question, and thank you so much for everyone for being here. I'm really honored to be here with a panel of really experienced and strong leaders in different industries. And I hope I can share as much as I'm taking away from all the talks that are happening. So I think some of the challenges that I face, particularly, we deal in chicken curry. So I'll explain what chicken curry is for everyone who doesn't know. It's a form of hand embroidery art form that comes from Lucknow, UP. And I co-founded the business with my mother in October 2020, 2 years back. And we decided to take the art of chicken curry online through an e-commerce solution. And my mother brings the operational, production, quality expertise to the business. She handles everything which is off Instagram, which is a lot more than just Instagram and the website. And I mainly look after the technical and the business development side of things. So coming back to your question and the challenges we face, particularly in this industry, I'd start with that, because we're dealing with artisans, and who are working on the garments and making it by hand. It takes a lot of days to make one garment. Maintaining, the quality level for and in an industry which was not organized, or which is, mainly run in like local shops, and they're only supplying to shops everywhere, to make them understand that quality in an e-commerce business versus quality in an offline business works very differently. So we have struggled a lot, and we are still struggling since 2 years. We are now lucky that some of them are on board with us, and my mom and I have made SOPs for them in Hindi. Every time we go to Lucknow, we give it to them, and we try to tell them that these are the 10 steps जो आपको ध्यान रखना है. And we've taken a lot of steps in our own very small way. Since we're only 2 years old, we haven't been able to obviously take it at a bigger scale yet. As we grow, we have big dreams to have a very deep impact on a grassroots level on the industry. And so this is on the industry side, the challenges we face. But overall, the competition online post-COVID has increased a lot. There's a lot of brands going online. Even though we were one of the first few brands to take chicken curry online, we were still indirectly competing with a Fab India or someone who would go and buy an Indian wear garment from some other brand. So to create that space, in an already crowded industry, I think there were two things that we just focused on, and we were just dedicated and committed to those two things. Number one was, we will make a purposeful brand. We are going to focus on the purpose of the brand, because millennials today, which is what I am, which is what peers around me are, if we decided to cater to them, and if 52% of the Indian population now is millennials and Gen Z, they need purposeful brands. You cannot just start something, it doesn't work like that anymore. 6 years back, you could keep pumping in money on marketing and get the sales. But today, that transparency and that purpose in a brand is what I think the young audience is what they want. So that is one thing that early on, I think we really heavily focused on, we still do. And the second thing that we focused on was building a community, right? Making sure that we build a community through our team, through our employees, through our customers, and also through our artisans. So no one should ever feel that we are a big organization. When we're with the artisans, we're a part of them. When we're with the team, we're a part of our team. When we're talking to customers, we're understanding them. So I think those are the two things that have really helped us make a little space in a very crowded industry as a whole. And that's something I think any new brand should look at, because that's what the millennials demand today. So that could help, cut through the clutter and reach your target audience if it's a younger one.
Thank you so much, Akriti. My next question goes to Dr. Madhulika Bajpai, MPhil, PhD, Associate Professor, Human Communication, University of Delhi. Ma'am, I remember my candid conversation with you on holistic wellness and how women balances it out. So what we see when a woman reaches to the top, there is a statement like, she's less deserving, but because she had good rapport with people, she's never measured on the basis of her capability, rather on the basis of her soft skills or the rapport with the other co-workers maybe. But there is a other side to a woman leader. She goes through a lot because she is the one who is building your society. Not only India, of course, around the world, woman is the one who is the Janani. The Janani is a Hindi word, the one who gives a birth, the one who teaches. She is the first teacher. So, ma'am, how to gain holistic wellness for a woman in such a challenging, fast-paced life where she has to balance her emotional well-being, because the picture what she shows on a leadership position is very strong, but she's tender, she's soft, she goes through a lot emotionally. So how can she gain that holistic wellness, emotional well-being in this fast-paced life to balance work and family?
For your question, Preeti, sorry, I'm so bad at names. If you allow, I have a small presentation where I'm bringing forward a psychological perspective to what a woman goes through.
Sure.
Looking at it.
Sure. Naveen, I request you if you could play that presentation.
There are too many Good evening, everyone, and many of you may have heard this a lot since morning. That it's a privilege and an honor to be amongst the eminent speakers here and the participants, and to be sharing the dais with such achievers. And we are 8 of us, so that's like kind of on a note of immodesty. I'll say we are infinity, right? We start from there, we end here, and we have a lone gentleman here. Right. Lone Ranger has its connotations, so I'll be more kind to him and say a lone gentleman amongst many wolves here, right? A pack of wolves we are leading. Right. So I really appreciate all of you staying back to listen to us, and I put together a small presentation. If you find it too tedious, I'll just quickly go through it, but I would appreciate if you look at it, because we are talking about things which women face, and through that I'm trying to answer Preeti ji's question that how women are able to keep the holistic wellness going. So I put it together in 2 parts where I'm telling you what the challenges are, which many of us are aware of, but some of them probably I'm giving a title to it or a term to it so that we can kind of understand that better. And then, as my role as a psychologist, I'm also suggesting you certain solutions. So please bear with me, and I hope you will take back something with you after I finish. So the title of my presentation is Working Towards Women's Well-Being. I personally feel that we are talking about women leadership and women entrepreneurship, but it is not in isolation. We are a work in progress. We have been a work in progress, and we will remain a work in progress. And by we, I don't mean women. I'm speaking of the humankind. So when we are talking about the challenges that we face, it is not something we have started to face ever since women have stepped forward and being a part of economy. ये शुरू से था, ये कम हुआ है, ये कम हो सकता है, but will it end? That is something for us to decide, all of us who are policy maker, decision makers, or individuals in a relationship. So how are you contributing to that as to your son, daughter, wife, mother, husband, father? We all could be contributors. Next slide, please. So the first few chart, next slide please, yeah. I'll start with the good news. हमेशा अच्छे से शुरू करते हैं. They say we start with the meetha, so we'll start with that. So we have had a recent survey being done where they say nearly 20% of the enterprises in India are owned by women, which is a big step in comparison to what it has been in the last few decades. We also have Kalpana Saroj, who kind of brought back the company, this Kamani Tubes, back from bankruptcy to, profitable company, and she's known as the first woman entrepreneur of our country. We also have just picked up one. There are plenty of women, and there are plenty of you who are present here, and some on the dais as well, who are entrepreneurs and have been doing really well. So, a young one, Aditi Gupta, she has been awarded as one of the BBC's most influential women amongst the 100 ones, and is listed under 30 for Forbes as well. And Government of India, many of you who are from respect honorable mayors and decision makers, policy makers, professors, retired IAS officers, and everybody, you would be knowing that already, that plenty of schemes which the Government of India has launched to kind of provide economic empowerment to women, or allow them, not I wouldn't say allow them, provide them opportunities for them to have a bigger share in decision making. However, the next slide please, we have the not so good news as well. The other side of the coin. The sixth economic census, which happened in 2014, says that women, the number of enterprises we have in our country, only 13.76 businesses are owned by women. And by that, if Dr. Aditi is here, I'm not talking about Praja, what was the name that she gave? Pradhanpati, not Pradhanpati. But it's only 13.76 when we are about 50% of the population. The index of women entrepreneurs, they have ranked us 52 out of 57 countries they surveyed. So we are at the top, we're at the bottom. World Economic Forum gender gap has found us at 142 out of 149 countries. So the gender gap still remains, and this is a recent report, maybe 4 or 5 years old only. And most unfortunate is that even if we have 98% of the women, the businesses are owned by micro enterprises. They are not heading big companies, they're not heading things where decisions are made, where policies are made, and out of which almost 90% of them are in the informal sector. So the good news, bad news for both of you, but what are the challenges specifically? The first challenge is what we all would agree, and a quick disclaimer. When I'm speaking here, I'm not saying man versus women here, right? There are no villains here. Please remember that. We are a cog of a wheel. Sometimes we cooperate, sometimes we do not. So please don't see it as a man-bashing thing. With all my feminism in place, I'm not here to bash men. So if you look at this, this is something I've experienced myself in an industry which is largely women-dominated. Teaching as well as psychology is largely women-dominated. Yet, often I have found that my ideas, when it comes from a male's mouth, sound suddenly more appealing to the decision makers. And a male boss can be boss, but a female boss is bossy, right? Just an extra why, and why, right? So that's a gender bias we are dealing with and we need to look into. Next slide, please. And yeah. So we have gender lens. When a woman does a lot of things, she is multitasking. When a man cannot do many things, he has single-minded focus. I wonder why don't we have that privilege? Look at the... when a man looks at himself, look at the mirror with a nice protruding belly and see the way he imagines himself to be. And look at the way a woman would see herself, over exaggerating her tiny flaws, right? And which is true for all of us present here as well. And then when a man does all of it which a woman is doing, he's a modern man. And when a woman does it, she's a housewife, right? Right. Welcome to the world of women. Next slide, please. Next thing. I'm not done yet. I hope I am able to keep you entertained till the end. So a man's strength is not to speak. Yeah? Many of you choose not to speak, and unfortunately a woman's strength is her tears. Something which happens to us naturally is seen as a weapon. Yeah? And we're talking about not being biased to women here. A man travels like this, a woman travels like that. Right? Most of the men who are traveling for this workshop would know how many of suitcases you're carrying, right? How many of you actually made an effort to dress up today? We were discussing this with Dr. Raghuvanshi this earlier, that we take effort it shows. And we should not be ashamed of it. We should not be embarrassed about it, right? If you want, I can speak in Hindi also, but looking at some of the audience, I'm sticking to the language, but agar aap chahe, to main isko Hindi mein bhi samjha sakti hu. And the last one, men don't understand makeup. Huh? Women don't understand tools, right? I understand both. That makes me what? 50-50? No. I still am a woman, but I know that. These are the gendered lens that we carry with us when we are dealing with gender roles, and something which we should go with. And the last one, which is the most horrendous one, if I may say, is this. Please, next one, please. This is our competition. Look at the line for women and look at the line for men. And if this is how we are supposed to compete, how are we talking about equality in the first place, right? So these are the challenges, gendered lens. Next one, please. I'm just trying to be as quick as possible. Now, compassion fatigue is a term which is largely used for industries which are working in health industry, or like for example, nursing, doctor. We spoke to Priya and she spoke about a doctor who was a gynecologist and how much harder she had to work during COVID with no respite from her household responsibilities. So compassion fatigue is something which people who are taking care of others by the virtue of the job that they are in, or because of their responsibilities, can experience. These are some of the things, some of the areas through which you could have compassion fatigue, and this is how compassion fatigue would be visible in you. Next one, please. These are the various symptoms, right? So your aggression, your agitation, your irritability is not because this is that time of the month, right? Or you're menopausal, right? It could happen because of compassion fatigue also, and it is about time we look around ourselves and see, are we also dealing with women who are going through the stage of compassion fatigue, or are we conveniently labeling is कि ये तो महिलाओं के साथ होता है, ये उनकी biological process के कारण से ऐसा होता है, या they're emotional. Sometimes we are called emotional for no reason. By the way, aggression is also emotion. So when I punch you in the face, I may be going through my cycle, right? Remember that. Next one, please. Now we have double binds, as Dr. Raghuvanshi just said, that she was largely, most of the situations, she was the only female there, right? It can be very threatening, it can be very overwhelming if you don't hold your fort. So, but what women find in terms of double bind is, if I am strict with you, oh, she's being mardani. Do we have a similar term for a man in a semi-complimentary way? हम पुरुष को जब बोलते हैं effeminate, generally we are talking about the sexuality. We are never speaking about, oh, he's in touch with his femininity, he's a nice guy or he's a gentle guy. But mardani we use. Even in the history we say, खूब लड़ी मर्दानी, वो तो झांसी वाली रानी थी. Why could she not be a feminine figure and yet fight? So we do have these double binds where damn you do, damn you don't. Right? So what are the things that which you face? Next one, please. Sorry? So these are certain things that when men take charge, this is what they hear, and when women take charge, and these are symbolic, these are the generic ones. I'm sure each one of us have faced biased or worse than this in our personal lives as well. So this is something we need to be careful about, the double binds that we create for women in our society. Next one, please. And then tipping scales. Oh, every time I heard the word work-life balance, I would have been a crorepati, right? I'm sure many of us would be. But unfortunately, I still am not, so you do understand it's just a word. So women are supposed to be handling things like that, right? And if the scales have to tip, it should rather tip towards the household thing, but never for the career, because there's a man there. Though, of course, we do have a gentleman here who does not, or who breaks the mold here. He will tell about his story later, but we are expected to do that. Next one, please. These are some of the reasons why the so-called work-life balance is not there. Please see if you are responsible for any of this. Many of you are officers here, many of you are employers here, entrepreneurs here. One of the reasons is also that bosses are difficult, right? So please identify if work-life balance is not only about a threatening spouse and a non-cooperative husband and young children. It could be coming from both sides. And the last one, which is very unfortunate, is a recent survey done in 2020 by LinkedIn, and it says that, I'm afraid I can't see the statistics, but I'm sure you can, that almost 1.3 percent, 1.3 in comparison to 1 men leave jobs because of the imbalance that they face when they're not able to kind of keep the scales together. So tipping scales is the next thing that challenge a woman faces. Next one, please. Then this is something you can't wish away. You're born with a gender, right? You're born with a certain kind of physiology. You cannot wish away. So you would, if you're fortunate, will have a menstrual cycle if you're a woman. You will have a marriage if you're lucky. And if you're more lucky, you could also have a divorce as well. If you want, you could have a pregnancy. If you want, you can have more than one pregnancy. You could have, unfortunately, a death in a family, which could affect both. But as you would see in your respective families, agar ghar mein kisi ka bimari se lekar death, if there was an illness or a death, it's a woman who has to stay back and take care of everything, whereby, with absolute regard to my own religion, and I'm speaking for my own, whereby all the chores are done by men, but chutti lady ko leni padti hai, right? So we're looking at that. Any illness, bacha bimar hota hai, unless the child is is being breastfed, does not require the mom as much, but it is always the mother. And they say माँ का दिल ऐसा होता है. आपने टटोल के देखा, are you a cardiologist? Research और biological basis में माँ और पिता के दिल में कुछ ऐसा difference नहीं होता, right? It is a social conditioning that we're talking about, and that needs to change. And that would be my request to all the young ones out here. If just because you have seen your parents do it, that's not necessarily the right way of doing it. Right? Then menopause. It is a challenge which has just been been spoken about a lot in the Nordic countries, where they're saying that women who are undergoing menopause should be relieved of some responsibilities. Right? Some of us may have gone through it, some of us may be going through it, but eventually, if you're born a woman, you would undergo that, and there's nothing to be ashamed of it. Your capabilities, if it is being affected, आपको जुकाम है जिस दिन उस दिन आप बात नहीं कर सकते, and it's a given. So if you are undergoing menopause and because of that you have certain physical or psychological conditions, how can you be judged upon it? Or how do they say कि आपकी capabilities कम हो जाएंगी? How can you be replaced because you're no more productive just because you're going through a cycle which every woman has to? So these are the biases which we generally face, and that's something we need to look into, the challenges we are posing to our women. Next one, please. And this one is very important, the networks and relationships. Could you play that, please? So we were speaking of this earlier also, the Lone Ranger, the Pack of Wolves. We have quite a few names here. Boys Gang. We have alpha males. We also have bro culture. And you would see that in a company where the women are outnumbered, and there's another different concept altogether called as minority stress, which unfortunately most of women face in respective organizations when they are fewer in number. This is what leads to alienation further. You know, the kind of coming together of boys and, you know, not siding with women per se can lead to alienation in the organization, even when it is not intended. I'm not saying you're doing it on purpose, but it can be seen as alienation of sorts. Next one, please. And this one is a mixed bag. I'm sure many of you have seen this video clip. You would have your own take on it. I think by now you would know what would be my take on this. But this is something I personally feel this happened to Indra Nooyi in 2000. We are in 2023. I don't know that the reality has changed. And we make mothers-in-law generally the dams in our stories. Here the mother is the one who is telling the place of a woman. And just see, are we willing to take this as a norm, even if it is coming from the director of PepsiCo company? Could you play that, please?
Indra, you run a company with 300,000 employees, almost $70 billion in revenues. You come home one day as president of the company, just appointed, and your mom's not that impressed. Will you tell that story?
You know, this was about 14 years ago, and I was working in the office. I worked very late, and we were in the middle of the Quaker Oats integration or the acquisition. And I got a call at about 9:30 in the night from the existing chairman and CEO at that time, and said to me that, Indra, we're going to announce you as president and put you on the board of directors of PepsiCo. I mean, I was overwhelmed because, you know, look at my background, where I came from. To be president of an iconic American company and to be on the board of directors, I mean, I thought it was just something special had happened to me. So rather than stay and work till midnight, which I really would have done because I had so much work to do, I decided to go home and share the good news with my family. So I got home at about 10, parked the car, got into the garage, and my mother was waiting at the top of the stairs.
And I said to her, Mom, I got great news for you. And she said, well, then let the news wait. Can you go out and get some milk? I said to Mom, look, I looked in the garage. Looks like my husband is home. What time did he get home? She said 8 o'clock. I said, why don't you ask him to buy the milk? Because he's tired. Okay, he's tired. He's tired. We have a couple of help at home. Why don't you ask them to get the milk? She said, because I forgot. I said, okay, fine. She said, just go get the milk. We need it for the morning. So I, like a dutiful daughter, I went out and got the milk and came back. I thought I banged it on the counter and I said, I had great news for you. I've just been told that I'm going to be president of the board of directors, and all that you want me to do is to go out and get the milk. What kind of a mom are you? And she said to me, let me explain something to you. You might be president of PepsiCo, you might be on the board of directors, but when you enter this house, you're the wife, you're the daughter, you're the daughter-in-law, you're the mother, you're all of that. Nobody else can take that place. So leave that damn crown in the garage and don't bring it into the house. Now, I have to tell you, David, I've never seen that crown.
Now, looking at the audience response, it might sound like funny, but I was enraged. I was extremely angry at the mother, right? A response, सास से तो उम्मीद कर सकते हो, but your mom telling you that. And the fact that it is also disappointing to me, and this is a very, very personal thing, I'm sure each one of you have a takeaway from this, that somebody that successful is reminded you're a mother, daughter, wife. मुझे दुख होता है आदमियों के लिए, उनको कोई नहीं देता है ऐसे दर्जा, कोई नहीं उनको याद दिलाता you're a husband, son, daughter, जो भी और role fulfill करते हैं. Why are they not reminded? And we are emotional, we are weak, yet the man at 8 o'clock is tired, the woman at 10 o'clock is quite okay to go and fetch milk also, right? So these are the challenges that we're facing, and that requires a lot of effort on our part to empower ourselves with some kind of holistic wellness, or taking care of ourselves, which is the other part of the presentation, but that I'll take once the question is raised to me. I hope I made some sense and there are certain takeaways. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Madhulika. I must confess कि लंच के बाद सब थोड़े थक गए थे, नींद भी सबको आ रही थी, आपने जगा दिया है. So thank you so much. A lot of thought-provoking activities or the statistics which you have shown us. Definitely, we are going to take away a lot of different perspective towards women empowerment and handling women health in a different fashion. So, going ahead with the next question to Ms. Madeline, the ambassador, former mayor of Aerocity, Philippines. Sure. Naveen, I hope we are ready with the presentation.
VTR. The reason why I stood up because first, I'm the shortest among them. To be honest, I'm really nervous because I agree to Mayor Steph with this elite kind of audience. It's kind of intimidating on our part. And also, I'm nervous because imagine, look at this. Thank you, Ravi, for including me in this panel, because this is not a beauty contest. Look, they're also beautiful, and they are so tall. Thank you, Ravi, for joining me here. I'm the shortest. Look, imagine, they're all so beautiful and intellectual, cerebral.
You're really kind. A woman giving a compliment to another woman is a big achievement.
Yes. Imagine, her name is Pretty, and she's very pretty. Isn't it? Oh my God, all of them are so beautiful. It's like a beauty contest. It's a good thing that I'm the shortest. If I'm tall, maybe I'm Miss Philippines or Miss Universe. Yeah. But honestly, all of them are so beautiful and intelligent. And we were talking all together and said, my God, these are all my idols. They are all successful. But we have a Lone Ranger, by the way. He's our Prince Charming, and I admire he took the bold decision of supporting our advocacy to women empowerment, and I admire him for that. And he said he loves his wife so much. So we have to give him a round of applause. I don't know if you can see me. Yeah. But honestly, I didn't know what chicken curry is. I thought it's food. But it's a garment. It's a garment. Oh, that's chicken curry. Oh, she's also beautiful. And I asked her, are you available? Are you married? And she said, I am. Oh, I have a son and he's available. But anyway, I admire all of them and they're very successful in their endeavors. Congratulations. And our speaker a while ago, she's so funny and cerebral. My God. Thank you. Congratulations too. But much have been said and done. I don't know if you can still absorb all the things that we were going to say because, you know, our human brain is like a sponge. We don't know if we overused it. Maybe you won't be absorbing all the water. So we don't know if you can still absorb what we will share with you. But actually, much have been said and done, but we can only do so much. All the speakers are right. We are privileged and we are really successful and we are fighting our way to be accepted in this community, in this society that we have right now, that we are in right now. However, I really agree that what is the beauty or what is essential is really invisible in the eye or invisible to the eye. And I remember my father once said, if you want to know the true character of the person, you better look at the face of the person. Because the beauty inside will exude every time you talk to them. And you will see how beautiful these people are through their faces. So I'm not prejudicial to those who are not beautiful, but eventually when you talk to these people, when they have this kind heart, it will exude and you will become more beautiful. Yeah, that's true. So I have this VTR. So I said much have been said and done, and all the good adjectives has been said by all the speakers. I have a VTR. I just want to share with you what we did in Iriga, which very true. I am also discriminated, highly discriminated since I'm a woman. I'm the first woman mayor in our city. And they said, you know, women, they vacillate most of the time in the decision making. So that's one criticism, that's one discrimination. And they said, oh, she's so young. What is she going to do? She will just play softball or volleyball in that field. But, well, we have to prove our worth. So this is what we did in Iriga City. I hope you will like the VTR.
Aerocity, situated in the southern part of the island of Luzon, which has developed as a center of trade, commerce, and industries in Rinconada area. Iriga City's economic base is agriculture, with farming as the main source of livelihood, and with MSMEs, ranking second in terms of contribution to the economy of the city. The COVID-19 outbreak has extremely shaken the basic fundamentals of society, affecting the lives of the people. The pandemic has paralyzed the consumer-dominated economy as activities were put on standstill. Adversely affected are the agricultural and micro, small, and medium enterprises. The city formulated and adopted the following policies to address the impact of economic breakdown, which include social and solidarity economy initiatives in the context of before and during the COVID-19 pandemic. The vulnerable sectors are women, MSMEs, youth, and IPs. They were all engaged into various livelihood skills and training, entrepreneurial development seminars, for employment generation gearing towards economic stability, to bring the government services closer to the people and disseminate services to MSMEs in the locality in the city. The local government unit of Iriga City conducted a livelihood saving program called Negosyo Servicio sa Barangay that allows a wider range of business development assistance. Various trade fairs were also organized to help the MSMEs showcase and gain exposure and promotion of their businesses and local products. While and during the COVID-19 pandemic, the city formulated the Rehabilitation and Recovery Program, which aims to provide specific recommended actions in two key areas: restoring, strengthening, expanding, and continuing socioeconomic activities, and increasing resilience and capabilities of communities in recovering from the effects of the pandemic. Iriga City pays special attention to MSMEs, livelihood and business development and priority policies, programs, and projects that will focus on survival and response measures, including rehabilitation and recovery programs. These are the interventions: that will respond to the needs of the displaced workers, providing livelihood to augment income, wage subsidy, and other forms of cash and in-kind assistance, especially for the vulnerable sectors. During this period, assistance to business enterprises like regularization program, regulatory and tax relief, temporary bridging loans by government financial institutions, waiving of fees and charges will be provided. Having considered all this, the local government unit of Iriga came up with the policies that may reinforce the impact of social and solidarity economy. We felt the need of promoting an enabling environment for entrepreneurship and sustainable enterprises, in particular on MSMEs, as well as cooperatives, by adopting the policy of transformation of the local economy through promotion and development of micro, small and medium enterprise to create successful entrepreneurship that will open employment opportunities and boost the economy of the city. Likewise, the improvement and enhancement of productivity of the agricultural sector by developing a diversified organic farming and learning center, market access and support services. We also strengthen the partnership between local and national government and key stakeholders in crafting effective anti-poverty strategies and integrating priority PPAs in the development plan of the city. Similarly, we will uphold strengthening competitiveness by enhancing performance in the areas of governance efficiency, economic dynamism, and infrastructure development to attract investments. Finally, we will operate an integrated resilience initiatives for global agenda of Aerocity project that will provide a shared service facility as a one-stop shop for the management team and partner agencies and institutions in providing services for training for livelihood, entrepreneurial, and skills development, microfinancing, community mobilization, and empowerment through capability building activities, psychosocial support, and skills matching. All this considered, we will be able to leave no sector behind amidst the disabling crisis that the country is facing at the moment. The local government unit of Iriga will continue to provide the needs of the Irigeños to ensure productivity and sustainability. That's what we are known for. Strong and resilient.
See, I'm still the shortest. Yeah. So that's what we did in Iriga. And thank you. I would like to add also about on mental health because the prolific increase of suicide. So what we did is we created a crisis center with a psychiatrist. So women who are battered, and it's a crisis center is like a haven wherein we can protect you and we can give you enough support, and we can give you the skills, we can teach you and educate you, and we can give you a legal counsel, a legal officer or a lawyer at that, so that he or she can help you in your with your divorce, if you want to get divorced, if you want to be separated, or if you want to get alimony or anything, or support. Then also, actually this is not, I don't want to be a misandrist. Misandrist is the opposite term of misogynist. Misogyny, men are, sometimes are bully because they hate women, and we call that misogynist or misogyny. And the opposite is misandrist, but I don't want to be misandrist because I like men. In fact, my best friends, I have two best friends who happens to be men. They are good soldiers and loyal friends. Just like Ravi. Ravi is a good friend. Thank you, Ravi, for joining me here. But what I understand and what I've learned, we cannot do it alone. So what we need is a collaboration. It has to be a concerted effort of all the genders in our society. But we have to support and we have to work with those men who loves us. Men who believes in women empowerment, and men who gives us respect. The men who respects us. If you will ask about the budget, it is mandatory in our country that 5% of our budget goes to gender and development. So let's say if we have 1 billion pesos budget, 5% of that, we're talking about $1 million. $1 $1 million goes to gender and development. So that's where we get the budget and formulate all these strategies and programs for all the genders in our society. So again, thank you. I would like to leave this note. He said that a nation is prosperous when it has effective institutions, open economy, empowered people who are healthy, educated, and safe. God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madeline. And I must say, action speaks louder than words, and your actions are speaking really louder. So you should not be worried of your height because the size is showed by your work. So congratulations. My next question to the gentleman on the panel, please don't feel bad.
No, I'm not feeling bad. I'm feeling very happy actually.
Thank you. So Nikhil ji,
Actually-
thanks for your patience. Mr. Nikhil Pant, my question to you would be, how can CSR initiatives help support and promote women entrepreneurship?
So first of all, can I also stand up maybe? That'll be better. That video thing also the will kind of put up, and I'll use this. So thank you very much to the All India Institute of Local Self-Governance for inviting me, and I feel a little overwhelmed obviously with the kind of woman power which is here, but and I think I would say this to everybody that women, when they are empowered, and there's a small video that I'm going to show you from Kashmir, and I've been working in Kashmir for almost half a decade and a little bit more with the Indian Army. I want all of you to see this video, and then I will speak a little bit about what women can do when men come forward and also support them, and the kind of silent transformation that is happening in Kashmir, which most of us are unaware of. And typically what you see in media, and I think Dr. Hina is here, I am extremely, humbled by what she just said. She was the first woman to join the BJP in 2013-14, she said. So from abuse to acclaim, you said in the end, I heard that. And she stood firm, and she kept on doing, I'm sure, community work, and she got the recognition for the hard efforts. So in Baramulla, if you do some Google, it was one of the most difficult places because of insurgency. And we began our project there in 2016 with the Indian Army. And there was a woman leader who came forward to support our project in CSR, and that was from the ONGC, Oil and Natural Gas Corporation, and Dr. Alka Mittal was the head CSR. So today Richa is the NGO where I am the CEO, and we have about 6 or 7 donors. In all of those donors, the head CSRs are all women. And I find that when I'm interacting with most of them and all of them, I find them to be not just empathetic, but also visionaries. Because what this video shows you is the journey of those 6 years, which are captured in these 8 minutes of the video. And today Baramulla is, in fact, my projects are in Baramulla and Kupwara. Insurgency began in Kashmir from Kupwara. And today we have GenPact, today we have India Infoline Foundation, today we have ONGC. They are the corporates which are coming forward, and again, coincidentally, the head CSRs in all these 3 companies are women who have come forward to support these projects of the Indian Army. So Naveen, if you could just play, and once you've seen this, so just a minute Naveen, let me just give you the broad context. So this is a training center called Chinar Naujawan Club, which is run by the Indian Army in Baramulla. And I would invite any and all of you to come over and also support us in helping these young men and women in Kashmir get better livelihood opportunities. We have funders, but we want people to come forward to give them the market access. And maybe Akriti, because you are doing good work, you can also guide us. This center runs within the army campus. And when the youth come in and the women get trained, we find that when they go and set up their boutiques, many of them have become entrepreneurs. So what has happened is that the same woman has asked the male in the family to not go towards anti-national activities, but to go towards mainstreaming. It is the woman which is changing the way men were thinking. Because the moment women started earning money, they started having greater say within the family. So whether it was their father, their brother or their husbands. So drastic reduction in militancy activity in Baramulla was observed, and the army is today welcoming anybody and everybody to come forward and partner them. So we'll just have a look at this video.
A bold new energy emerges on Kashmir's horizon. Its blaze dispelling darkness, its presence radiating optimism. Its rhythm spurring people to their feet. For the youth of Kashmir, this is a new sunrise. An awakening of new dreams and ambitions. The
So
dawn of
just
a
pause,
new
pause,
life.
pause. Now, how many of you have seen such kind of scenes in television reporting of Kashmir? Just raise your hands. Let me see. None of you? Yes or no? Can I hear? This is what is happening. And I think to the context of this session here today, I would like to mention that when an ecosystem of support comes in, the woman becomes empowered also. So there is an ecosystem development that I'm trying to present over here, which in this case the Indian Army is trying to present. They are trying to make an effort to come across as a caring army and not as an occupation army. There is no need for army to be in Kashmir, if you ask me. But because of insurgency, because of there is a mental, ma'am, you were talking about mental health. There is a psychic change, in the youth as they have grown up with bombs and bullets flying all over. So there is this ecosystem which has evolved, which you will come to see, and within this ecosystem, there is this nurturing of the talent where women are now coming forward. And we did some survey also through GenPact, which I will share the results of that survey, and you will be shocked to hear what the results are telling us. You will be really shocked, I'm telling you. Let's proceed.
For young Zubair and Danish, any day is a good day for business. This confidence matches their selling skills gained from a professional course they both completed. To their eager eyes, the Baramulla market is a good place to find new customers. On a different street, but with a similar zest for life, is 23-year-old Tabassum. Each new design by this talented fashion designer brings her nearer to her dream of becoming a boutique owner someday.
पहले मैंने सीखा है नौजवान क्लब से, तो फिर मुझे कॉन्फिडेंट आया कि मैं कुछ ना कुछ करूं। मैं यहाँ पे अलग-अलग ड्रेसेस बनाती हूँ। मैं चाहती हूँ कि मेरा भी अच्छा सा बुटीक हो और मैं
So this is Tabassum, because I'll just keep, because there are a lot of foreigners here from different parts of Asia. So this Tabassum is one of the students of this center, which we call a club. And Tabassum has been trained in a training program called fashion designing. And now this girl is aspiring to have a boutique of her own somewhere in the city of Baramulla. And she says, I am dreaming for that. And once they come out of this training, we either want them to start stitching in their homes, because there is a lot of handwork, which Kashmir is known for. Tilla work, I guess Dr. Hina would be aware of that. But often they do not know how to go about it. They have the talent, they have the jazba, they have the passion to do it, but somebody has to support them.
मैं अपने बुटीक पे काम कर सकूं।
While Tabassum takes confident strides towards her career goal, elsewhere, 22-year-old Hansal has already arrived. Hansal is back from Gurugram, where he outperformed fellow staff at KFC. Rose rapidly up the ranks, Hansal is here to take charge as manager at the Srinagar outlet of the multinational food brand.
पहले जब उठता था मुझे सुबह मजदूरी जाना पड़ता था। जो नए नए लड़के आते हैं मैं आज उनको सिखाता हूँ, ये करना है वो करना है। पहले मैं सीखता था, आज मैं सिखाता हूँ।
So just stop here.
The mountains of Kashmir.
Now youth like Hamzal have come back to Kashmir from Gurugram, and he's now a trainer with KFC, the KFC outlet in Srinagar. And it is people like Hamzal who will go to the boutique of Tabassum to buy the product. Because eventually Tabassum will succeed if there are buyers in the market. Otherwise it will collapse. And if she collapses, how will she become financially independent? And if she's not financially independent, how will Tabassum tell her father or her husband or her brother not to go the wrong way? It is all interlinked. So there is an ecosystem correlation that needs to happen. Yeah, please.
Kashmir. Young Kashmiris, empowered with new vocational skills, are pursuing new careers. For these young men and women, life is on a positive trajectory unlike before. Their success is also the success of the Indian Army, which has scripted this silent revolution. The Indian Army continues to advance in this mission of bringing peace in the valley with initiatives aimed at integrating Kashmir's youth into the mainstream.
So the women there also are part of a very interesting program called coding. Women also need to become coders. Some girls are very intelligent in maths and science, in STEM subjects, science, technology, engineering and maths. Can they become coders and can they sit in Kashmir and design codes that maybe a Google or a Facebook or an Amazon can use? So within the Chinar Center, we also are running a coding instructors program where women should not be categorized as only people who can do fashion design. Why can't they get into cutting edge coding? The moment they find that there is an opportunity in these new age things, they also
of society and gives them suitable vocational training followed by jobs.
यहाँ की हॉस्पिटलिटी नेचर एनवायरनमेंट बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छा है। हम अगर ट्यूशन सेंटर पे कहीं जाएंगे वहाँ पे तो पे बहुत करना है, यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं करना और हम कुछ सीख के भी जाते हैं।
Job-oriented skills training with courses in fashion design.
So what is happening is that the girl is saying that these courses are free and they feel secure when they come in here. So they come from very conservative Muslim families. To get them out from the house and from the community and the village is very difficult. Also to get them into an army training center is not easy, because army also was having a negative impression that this is an occupation army. So there is perception warfare also happening. So in a conflict zone, what we are trying to say over here is, in a conflict zone, can we use something like corporate social responsibility to empower women? And once they get empowered, can they be part of your non-kinetic force to make Kashmir a peaceful area and full of tourism, full of happiness, and full of, the Jannat element for which Kashmir is known as? Yeah.
Hospitality, retail, and arts and culture, followed by placements. Between April 2016 and February 2022, Jinar Naujawan has successfully trained 424 boys and 376 girls in retail, 667 boys and 141 girls in hospitality trades, 423 girls in fashion designing, 86 boys and 44 girls in arts and culture in music courses.
So there is a band also that we've developed there called Strings of Baramulla. Kashmir is also very famous for its traditional music, and Rabab, I think that's one of the instruments, and the girls are very keen to perform. So the Strings of Baramulla band is now called by various hotels, marriage parties, banquet halls, army officers for their various functions to come and perform, and then they get paid. The band gets paid like if you go to a nice restaurant here in Delhi and there is a live band playing. So there is an honorable livelihood opportunity also. So what an effort also has to be when you're talking about women's empowerment is innovation in empowerment. It cannot be normal, kind of stuff, which you want to generally associate women with. Can we make them coders? Can we make them singers? And then present their talent in a structured way to the market, where the market can accept that talent and buy those products and services.
Total of 2,191 aspirants.
Chinar Naujawan Club has changed the scenario of Baramulla as well as the mindsets of youth. Right now we are having number of students and our all batches are fully subscribed.
Besides helping youngsters in shaping their destinies, the Indian Army and ONGC have also been winning the trust and goodwill of Uri residents. Houses that were destroyed or partially damaged during the September 2017 encounter with militants were rebuilt in less than 3 months with help from ONGC. Whether it's repairing broken houses or healing broken souls, ONGC's CSR team welcomes every opportunity to serve. The Indian Army and ONGC expanded the scope of the program by adding more initiatives along the way. The Drug De-Addiction Center was a key addition.
हम ड्रग एडिक्शन पे ही नहीं, हम मेंटल
Just stop here. So now Seema is one of our counselors there. So we are also trying to empower women to become counselors because drugs is a major problem in Kashmir, massive problem. And there's a boy who's speaking in the dark. They use live snakes to bite themselves. And once the snake bites you, you are off for 6 months. You can be easily brainwashed to do certain things which are totally not under your control. So the Drug De-Addiction Center tries to bring in both boys and many girls, young girls who get into drugs, to rehab them, to make them come out of drugs, and then we put them back to the Chinar Naujawan Club to become musicians, to become coders, to become fashion designers. Because unless you rehab them, unless you wean them away from drugs, they cannot go into the positive direction. So that is a very concerted strategic effort that we try and make.
कोरोना वायरस जब था
And the women drive it. The women drive it. The counselors are all women there.
सेंटर बंद था, बट ONGC ने इतना हमें सपोर्ट किया कि हम घर पे बैठ के बच्चों के साथ या फिर ऐसे लोग जो इस डिप्रेशन वगैरह एंजाइटी के शिकार थे, स्ट्रेस के शिकार थे, उनके साथ हम टेली काउंसलिंग करते थे और उस टाइम पे भी हमें इन ONGC रीचर का फुल सपोर्ट रहा.
Misguided and jobless Kashmiri youths, once addicted to drugs, become easy prey for militants. Rescuing them is therefore imperative from the national security point of view. The Drug De-Addiction Center has so far rescued 3,050 youths from the stranglehold of drug addiction and successfully rehabilitated them.
मैं तब स्कूल में था, कुछ बुरे लोगों की मिलने की वजह से मैं भी एडिक्ट हूँ. 1-1.5 साल तक मैं यहाँ रहा और इन्होंने मुझे बिल्कुल चेंज किया और मैंने ड्रग्स छोड़ दिया. फाइनली जो रिस्पेक्ट मैंने खो दी थी वो मुझे वापस मिली, वो सबसे बड़ी बात है.
In so many ways, the Chinar Naujawan Center has been a savior for so many. Other initiatives, like setting up 4 porta cabins and 5 self-help groups, have helped to optimize the program's outreach. With more and more youths back on the right path, life in Kashmir is slowly returning to its natural rhythm. And when there is rhythm, can music be far behind? The Art and Culture section at Chinar Naujawan Club provides training in instrumental and vocal music, with experts to teach and assess the aspirants' progress. Talented youths are encouraged to participate in competitions and perform professionally at festivals, events, etc. Their success has inspired and emboldened even conservative families into sending their youths to learn music at Chinar Naujawan Center, a welcome change of outlook.
मुझे सिंगिंग करने का बहुत ज़्यादा शौक था, इसीलिए मैंने म्यूज़िक में एडमिशन लिया. यहाँ पे हमें यहाँ पे लर्निंग के साथ साथ अर्निंग भी होती है. वो ऐसे कि बहुत सारे इवेंट्स होते हैं, जैसे सुपर में परसों यहाँ पे भी हुआ. शुक्रगुजार है ONGC का और इंडियन आर्मी का, जिसने हमें ये प्लेटफॉर्म दिया.
Just stop here. So this girl, Kheranusa, was in a very, there is an old Baramulla area. I think Dr. Hina may be aware. This used to be terror infested, very difficult area. Did you see the confidence with which this girl was speaking? Because she's suddenly getting an opportunity to get empowered through music. And she's now part of a band called Strings of Baramulla. And when she performs in different functions in the city, she gets a lot of social recognition as well as livelihood. So we celebrated our anniversary of our organization with the women and the youth there. We do that every year on the 9th of March. And I think that is the last part of it.
Undeniable signs of a community healing. Now there is music and laughter. Now there is empowerment and opportunity. Now Kashmiri youths can say with confidence,
So I guess we can end this here. So this was a small case study that I wanted to show when Naveen Naveen and Surbi, they are both my students. I conduct various courses in CSR as well. So this country, India, has an amazing law called Section 135 Companies Act, where in the last 8 years, 1.5 lakh crores of rupees have been spent. And every year about 25,000 crores are spent by about 20,000 companies. And all of us have opportunity to seek these funds through our NGOs. Because if women are there who want to be leaders, social entrepreneurs, CSR is a great way to develop your entities, to seek funds, and to empower the youth in whichever situation you are. What we are attempting in Kashmir is, there is a triangle, there is government, there is community, and there is an organization which is ours, the NGO. The community needs non-kinetic ways to integrate into the mainstream. If you try to do that with a gun, it doesn't work. But CSR becomes more powerful than the AK-47, frankly speaking. And it gives a voice to the youth, and then the youth begin to speak, and then they have a voice and they want to go forward. Yeah, so that's about it.
Thank you so much, Nikhilji. You're doing an amazing job at providing CSR funds to the upcoming budding entrepreneurs, and this actually helps women to fulfill their dreams.
So, ma'am, I just wanted to mention this because a lot of women are here. This legislation needs to be studied, and in any way, if you need my help, I'll be more than happy, because this section 135 gives you that empowerment. Often we don't know the power of legislation which is part of our country. So do read more about it, and you may get a lot of ideas to create further empowerment.
Thank you so much. Now coming to the youngest candidate on this panel, Miss Maitri Kamble. She's the youngest one on this panel, and thank you, Maitri, for your patience. While interacting with you, I realized that you have chosen a path where, when in our Indian society, we see girls getting settled down in their mid-20s or little ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा देर हुआ तो late 20s. So when they enter their 30, बेटा settle down कब हो रही हो? Settle down with शादी and बच्चे. So not the career. So coming back to my question, as a young entrepreneur, how do you define the term settle down used for women in India who choose unconventional path as their career options?
First of all, thank you so much for inviting me here. I think I'm the youngest person here, and I've been asked with the most difficult question. But I think, it is quite difficult, because when you're approaching that age, everyone around you just wants to understand when you're getting married and when this settling down is happening. But I think that question happens to be for females quite early than men. And that I personally deal with is that it is a very subjective kind of a thing. When you are in unconventional ways, you have already chosen something so unconventional. So I would always go never settle. Because I think entrepreneurship is something you never settle for. You never settle for anything less, you never settle for anything which is not for you. You never settle, as very rightly Akriti said, that this generation is now so purpose driven in terms of entrepreneurship also. They are thinking about the surroundings, they are thinking about literally about environment, they are thinking about climate action, sustainability, they are thinking about future. Today we are celebrating the presidency of G20 in India, and I happen to interact with a lot of engagement groups. I'm part of one of the Business 20 engagement group, and there also we are discussing that the number of startups coming with purposeful ideas. I think we don't need to now use settle down for anything, because we are not going to settle. We are never settling for anything. Definitely we are going to have our ups and downs in the life, but this term settle is, for me, it's never settle.
Sure, lovely. One more point I want to highlight here, that your father is a Padma Shri awardee, and that is the highest civilization, one of the highest civilization award we have in India. Now, of course, comparisons like we expect our kids to follow the path of their parents, but instead of choosing a path for the footprints of following the footprints of your own parents, you decided to start your own company and start working towards Honeysuckle project. Hygiene and sanitation is your forte. Could you please highlight what you want to do and what is the vision behind this new project you've undertaken?
Thank you for that question. I am working for women hygiene. When I say women hygiene and sanitation, I also come from a background of a marginalized community. I represent a chamber called DICCI, which was founded by my father in 2005. We work pan-India. We are a business chamber, so we are connecting the entrepreneurs from this community, while also trying to create that spirit amongst the new generation. I head the vertical of that called Dicky Next Gen. And while working with Dicky, I have always had the touch with that social part and with the sanitation workers most importantly. And I was researching a policy actually for Dicky, and we came across, I was just 17 actually that time, and we came across this fact that 12 people had died in a sewer line in Hyderabad. While cleaning it, they were getting down the drain and trying to remove the blocks, and they passed away. And a lot of people were discussing things in front of me, but the only thing got stuck in my head is we are the developing nation. We have all type of technologies. We have people going to moon, going to Mars, and we still can't clean our shit with a machine. And that kind of, because maybe mind my words, I'm a Gen Z and I'm very candid in all of this. I'm not afraid to talk about this because somebody has to talk, and somebody needs to talk. And I think maybe if I'm given the opportunity, I should talk. And that's how the journey of my company started. We did a pilot project in Hyderabad with government of Hyderabad. We did about 70 sanitation workers rehabilitation. In fact, we already have that Act of Rehabilitation 2013 in place, but unfortunately it is not being followed properly because a lot of social aspects associated with this work. So we took about 70 such sanitation workers. We rehabilitated them, we made them contractors with a government in Hyderabad, and we piloted that project completely by hand-holding them, by giving them all kinds of skills, all kinds of trainings. And we are happy that today we are about 160 entrepreneurs in Hyderabad. We call them sanitation entrepreneurs, sanipreneurs, and they use all kind of machineries to clean the sewer line. There is no need for a human intervention anymore, but not cutting down anybody's job, because this community somewhere is not skilled for anything else. They were never taught we can go for some other jobs. So we are also trying to give that credit confidence to them. So Honeysuckle is the same part of the project, and we are the mobile app. It's called it's just like any regular Ola or Uber taxi calling app. It's just for your septic tanks. So you can call a vehicle through that app, you can place an order, you can get your septic tank clean. And after this, we are also completely moving into the female hygiene. So many women here have, not many women, every woman have faced a problem to using toilets on the go, right? So we all are very afraid. We have all these our ways and methods to use toilet publicly. So we came up with a very unique idea in Pune in 2017, where a group of people conceptualized this, and now we are taking it everywhere. We are introducing technology. I would like to play that video. It's a small video where you will see the project.
Can we have
As a woman, finding a public toilet isn't easy. Finding a clean one, even more so. The on-the-go women of today deserve the on-the-go sanitation services. And bringing this gap one toilet at a time is the T-Bus, a toilet integration hub that provides women with safe, comfortable, and hygienic private spaces which they can access anywhere. So if there's an urgent sanitary need, look out for a refurbished bus with a smiling female attendant next to it.
क्लीन एकदम घरासारखे स्वच्छ आहे.
It's pink so you won't miss it. And don't forget to like and share this video with your friends. Come visit us at the.
Kudos to you, Maitri. Such a beautiful idea. Everybody knew the problem, but someone who takes the initiative to solve that problem is actually a legend. And that too at this age, I must congratulate you. Kudos to you. So, considering the time constraint, I'm getting the hands up from the organizers. Now, concluding the session, but I must say it was really an amazing experience sharing with all the panelists. Before we conclude the session, I would request the panelists to put some highlights, like we have touched upon a lot of sensitive pointers with each panelist experts over here. So, Hina ma'am, you wanted to put some light on what was presented by Nikhil ji. So can we have those concluding the highlights from you?
Thank you, Preeti, for giving me this opportunity. Because I think the question which was sent to me, Kashmir, Jammu Kashmir before 10 years, and how Nikhil represented my place, Jammu and Kashmir. So everybody has to bear with me. It's just not that long. I always believe that most of the people don't consider Jammu and Kashmir an integral part of India. But I and the youth of today believes that India is an integral part of Jammu and Kashmir. The kind of development, the kind of change happening in Jammu and Kashmir, as Nikhil mentioned it, that women going to army camps, it is unbelievable. If you talk about 5 years back also, nobody would even talk to a police officer. Army officer is too far, but this is a change. 10 years back, if we talk, I really need to highlight Jammu and Kashmir because that's my place and so much is happening, and especially our Honorable Prime Minister. He is looking so much into Jammu and Kashmir. The best part, what happened, what Preeti asked me, what is the change since 10 years? It is the abrogation of Article 370. That was the biggest change and the most difficult change. Only this regime could bring that in J&K. Because of that, lot of barriers, lot of things which were not happening there have started happening. I would like to highlight, for the first time in Jammu and Kashmir, where Jammu and Kashmir is known for stone pelting, Pulwama, and other things, all negative things. For the first time, last year, 10,000 youth from Pulwama, they had the Tiranga Yatra. This is historic. For the first time, all the trust, all the majority of the funds are going for the youth, for sports. Because more than, I think, 50,000, I'm keeping the paper so that I don't miss a thing. More than 50 lakh students, youth, they participated in and at the international platform as well because of sports. Because so much of drug, as Nikhil also mentioned, there are 6 lakh boys and girls who are addicted with drugs, and government is doing best so that the youth and Jammu and Kashmir, we bring it back what it was decades back. After 70 years, for the first time, there is Panchayat, BDC, DDC elections. It has happened for the first time. Everywhere we have Panchayats, but it's happened for the first time in Jammu and Kashmir. If I talk about my department, it's all about giving employment. UP is one of the biggest state. Jammu Kashmir population is very, it's just not even 1/4. But we are number one, doing number one for the startup ecosystem. Continuously for 3 years, we're coming up number 3. That means youth of Jammu and Kashmir is coming up with new units for their earning, because it's not only Jammu and Kashmir, I think the whole country and the whole world is facing recession, and then especially the government job scenario, which is totally gone. As we have these 2 beautiful girls, I think the trend has changed for the government job. And Nikhil has resigned. I needed to mention it, Preeti. He has resigned from the engineer job, right? And he has opted to be a teacher. And just because wife has supported him, otherwise he would have not been able to do it. So a lot of changes. I want to just highlight in quickly. We have 14.5% economic growth in Jammu and Kashmir. We are number 5 in 3 years in agriculture income. More than 70 crore proposals from the private investment has come to Srinagar. Already 45 operational industries are there, and that's because of the Article 370 has gone. And that thing that Kashmir belongs to some other place, and it's not that's why I initially said like it is not the integral part of India. India is the integral part of Kashmir. Recently, MR Group, they're making, on 19th March, they started a project for 10 lakh square feet mall, IT Tower in Jammu and IT Tower in Kashmir. This is a change. Once there is a development, there is a normalcy, normal life, what we call, then only I think we can say that Kashmir has really changed, because Jammu and Kashmir for decades and decades have not seen a normal life. I, being a Kashmiri, I left Kashmir in 89-90 because of the militancy started there, because my father was member of parliament. We had to leave because there was no political system, there was nothing other than militancy. So things have changed, and I am the same girl who is now staying in Jammu and Kashmir and working in the same administration. And I always, I think the best what is happening, as Preeti was also present there, for the first time real estate summit, it happened in Jammu last year, Preeti? Yes. And this year, May, we're going to have G20 meeting, which is something very big for Jammu and Kashmir, for the whole of our country. It's happening in Jammu and Kashmir. That means Jammu and Kashmir is not same Jammu and Kashmir where people will get threatened and feel threatened to go there. It's a record-breaking 1.80 crore people visited Jammu and Kashmir as tourists last year. That is something which has never happened. After 36 years, night transport has started. You can see even at the 12:01 in the middle of the night, shikaras are in the Dal. So it's the beautiful place. This is an invitation from a girl from Kashmir, daughter of soil, inviting you, come to the most beautiful place on this earth. And the situation is absolutely good. Government is taking all the measures, and I want to tell you, even when the things were not good, it was not good for the locals. Tourists were always safe there. Tourists were never harmed in Jammu and Kashmir. Whatever has happened, as again I would say, like, women have suffered and faced on every aspect, as a mother, as a daughter, as a wife. She's lost husband, she's lost son, she's lost brother. As a woman, Jammu and Kashmir women, they have faced for decades. And I think this is the golden era for the women entrepreneurs, where there has not been a shutdown for markets. New entrepreneurs who are coming up, they are doing their business beautifully. I want to mention this. As I said, UP is one of the biggest states, but still they have been just through MSME, they have taken over and established only 5,000 units. And in previous till date, we have 22,837 units we have established already. And with a margin money of 486.44 crore. And the best part is 37% quota for women, what we were talking about. It's not that we have kept women, we have been trying to give aware of Jammu and Kashmir. And Nikhil, the girl you were talking about who wants to run boutique, we are ready to help her, and I would definitely love to meet her with a 50 lakh rupees, 35% subsidy. And with the help of our Honorable LG and our Prime Minister, we have been able to start these schemes for the first time in history of Jammu and Kashmir in both rural as well as urban areas. And Nikhil, one more thing I want to add to this thing. You are also aware, every NGO goes to army to take money and work. It was the Khadi Village Industry Board who has given money and worked for army for the betterment of these girls. We have started a lot of Kilo Force, Badgam, HMT. I have given training to almost 200 girls, and they have started their own units. So definitely looking forward to meet you there working for the betterment of girls especially, because when we are there, we carry the womb of universe, and when we are there, we can make better society, better state, and a beautiful and strong economically country. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hina ji, for inviting all of us to a beautiful state, Jammu and Kashmir. अपने पैनल को यहीं पे पूर्ण विराम देते हुए और looking at the time constraint, I would like to conclude the panel with a quote. जिस तरह हर सक्सेसफुल पुरुष के पीछे एक महिला का हाथ होता है, हर सक्सेसफुल महिला के पीछे भी एक पुरुष का हाथ होता है. And वो पिता हो सकते हैं, पति हो सकते हैं, भाई हो सकते हैं, but there is a man who believes in her women like Nikhil ji we have on the stage, and I request to all the lovely ladies, please handhold other women folks and let's help each other to grow together. Thank you so much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's put your hands together for this very insightful session. And now it's the time for felicitation ceremony. Can I request D and Kashyap to please felicitate Mr. Nikhil Pant. All right, here we go. Everybody, let's put our hands together. Mr. Chalapati Raj to please come forward and felicitate Ms. Madhulika. Chalapati Raj, please join us. Mr. Jayant Pathak to please felicitate Dr. Hina. Dr. Hina, please come forward. Mr. Mukul Sharma to please felicitate Preeti Singh. Mr. Mukul to felicitate Preeti Singh. Mr. Khurshid Malik to felicitate Dr. Ananta. Mr. Khurshid Malik to felicitate Dr. Ananta. Mr. Abhijit Gadge to felicitate Madeline. Mr. Abhijit Gadge, please come forward. Mr. Pradipta Kanungo to felicitate Akriti Rawal. And last but not the least, Miss Aditi to please felicitate Maitri Kamble. Yes, group picture of the speakers. Ma'am will felicitate Mr. Ravi. All right. So there is a special connection as ma'am is also from Kashmir. All right. Can we have for the summary Dr. Banadia to please join us? It's time for the summary and the closing remarks. Hansa ma'am is already there, so she will give closing remarks.
Entrepreneurs to the politicians and the successful businesswomen. So now we have a final summary. So I request Banadia to please take your floor, and we request you to close in 3 to 4 minutes. Thank you, Banadia.
Thank you, Rafi. Have you been enjoying the session since this morning? Yes, very much. So you think this workshop is useful? Great. Okay, and you think the women empowerment essential? Absolutely. But we need also to have open-minded men, certainly. So first, let me congratulate everyone here for a wonderful sharing. I think every speaker spoke nicely and managed to inspire everyone here. So amazing stories, amazing kind of programs, amazing experiences that you have, the struggles that you face. And this is very, very important of the journey that we are taking. And the session 1 about women, power and leadership, we understand that we need much more women representatives in politics and high-level positions. And also, I think women try to be balanced as well in life, as well as in personal and professional lives. Actually, when I saw these slides of differences between men and women, I realized that I'm also one of them, because when I travel, I always carry 2 suitcases. And I envy sometimes with my male colleagues, only bring a small bag, even for mission of 1 week. Because when they change the ties, you know, you can just have a different flavors. But we cannot just change only scarves and wearing the same thing. So anyway, this is something that we know what have been highlighted. So when we focus more on women empowerment, then we believe that all development goals will be achieved. You believe it in that? Yeah, okay. Yeah. The session 2, important of quota for women in the politics. We're supposed to have at least male to female ratio in the world is 50-50. But we have only a limited number of women ahead of stage, small percentage of members in women in parliaments, and even in the local levels, in the local councils, the numbers are not that high enough. So we need to continue working on it. But also there are some successful stories that we heard also from India, also from Indonesia and others. So The third session, we talk about women entrepreneurships. I think I was amazed by the stories that all the panelists spoke on the session 3, because we know that when women hold the money, they will normally use for, can you guess? 1, family. 2, nutrition and health and well-being. And the 3rd, education. So this is why it's good that we have discussed about these women entrepreneurships, and we saw also the changes, like the story and panelists, and of course wonderful moderators. You have been so wonderful. All moderators gave applause as well. And of course our beautiful MC who dance very well since this morning. And tomorrow, maybe this will be announced later, so please join us also tomorrow for the opening session of this Asian Street Summit. So thank you, have a nice evening. Dhanyavad.
Thank you Banadia for your closing remarks, and it's really wonderful to have you here, and we always pleasures to welcome you in all our sessions and all our events when we do it in India. Thank you so much. So with this, Ma'am Hansa Patel, floor is yours, please.
Nice good evening to all of you. Wish you all the best. Take good memories with you, and I will always remember this day as a wonderful day. I met so many good, wonderful people here, and I appreciate each and every face I'm going to remember. Let me say, I too am a daughter of a Kashmiri mother. We lived in Kashmir when I was born, but then we were in Karachi. And the story goes, as you are aware about the partition. We came to Mumbai and we were not comfortable. That's how we came to Gujarat. But let me say, I love India. My children are abroad, but I always feel like being in India, and I would like to go to Kashmir. I'm very much touched by your last say. Let me say how we can serve. And I have many good friends, as you said. I have Mr. Ranjit Chauhan, I have Ravi, I have Abhishek, and then many, all those who are here, who will be with me. It's not only women, it's men and women both. My thanks to all of you. And let me say, I would like to felicitate Ravi and Abhishek. We started our center, which we call as the Asian program for, say, South Asia. But yes, we are trying to capture Asia Pacific. And all of you are with us, and we are going to make a wonderful wall. Let me say, we were in the garden sitting, talking about something what we could do for the coming time and make All India Institute an international body. And Ravi gave us a thought, and we accepted. Mr. Ranjit Chauhan supported, and it was also 2 other international agencies. First was very important one, Asia Pacific. It was Peter and it was Banadia. Banadia, I wanted to thank you for everything and full support to bring this big gathering here in Delhi. Our all events, like I can say all 5 were wonderful, and this is the 6th one. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's inauguration. And let me greet Ravi and Abhishek. Please come up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Mr. Ravi and Mr. Abhishek.
Okay, so great. Thank you, ma'am, for all your support and all your love to us. Okay, great. So with this, we are at the end of the today programs. Thank you once again for all of you. I really happy to see that still hall is full. Generally, we have a plan B when after the lunch. I asked my colleague to please be here and make sure that you can fill the seats so that speakers should not feel bad. But I think really thanks to all of you. It's a 6:15 and people are still listening, and I'm really thanks to all, and I'm sure that the speaker must be something to attract. So I'm sure thanks to all speakers who have been great and they shared a lot of good practices to us. I said in the morning that we'll have today was the tailor, so I'm waiting for the final picture by Baki hai. So request all of you to please join us tomorrow at 9 a.m. for the registration, but this is not in here. This will be in the first floor in the same hotel, don't worry. Same hotel, first floor. Sorry? Yeah, so this is a teaser, so can I request everyone play? Yep. Okay, so great. I hope it gives you another kind of energy to join us in the morning. But yeah, with this, I want to thanks once again to the panel of Session Plan 1. I can't read all the name because it will take another 15 minutes, but thanks to the speaker of Session 1. And thanks to the moderator, Reena Sa, if you're there. Thank you, ma'am, for chairing these sessions, and you have made it very clear. I would also like to thank the speaker of Session Plan Sessions 2, and obviously the moderator, Hemanti, if you're here. Yeah, please, thanks, Hemanti. It was a great for chairing the session. And of course, the last session, I guess I was little watching my watch. Still, yes. So, yeah, but I think you all were the too good. I was really I enjoyed the entire session, and the discussion happened, and we had maximum speakers. So this really gives a very kind of a blending of from Srinagar to the real estate businessmen to the kind of politicians. So I think it was a great, and thanks to all the speakers and panelists, and of course Preeti, thanks for your moderating the entire session. And of course I'll take maybe 2 more minutes to maybe the team who actually worked very hard for organizing this. Can I request all the team members to join here? Aditi, Sabnam, Abhishek, and all team members, please come stand here. I would really thanks to all of them. And this is just to tell you, this is a team for today program. So tomorrow you'll see the different team as well. So these people have been really, I don't think so they have slept for last 2-3 days, I guess. Thanks to all of them for please some photographs, please take that. And thanks to all the team members who really worked hard. Those who are outside, I thanks to all my ALSD team members who really made us proud for this day. And once again, it's a free day, so we do not want to have any engagement after this session. We can have a group photograph outside. It's maybe a beautiful place. So request all of you, if you can move outside, we can have a good photographs, and then Tomorrow we have a cultural programs, so we will give you, or maybe give you some entertainment as well. We have a nice musical program as well tomorrow evening, after the session, not before that. So you have to first go through the entire day, then you have to, we'll give you the cultural dinner as well as the cocktail dinner. And yeah, looking forward to welcome all of you once again tomorrow morning. So request all of you, please, if you can move outside, we can for the group photographs. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Please proceed to the outdoor area for the group picture. And